Okay, so hello everyone. Welcome to Britcham Indonesia Professional Women's Group webinar, Women and Realizations in the New Normal Beyond COVID-19. Today, we are very proud to invite 3 women leaders as our panelists. Ibu Diana Mudadalam, Country Head of Corporate Affairs at Standard Chartered Bank. Ibu Indrijati Rahayoe, Chief HR Officer at Prudential Life Assurance. And last but not least, Ibu Mutia Rini, Senior Marketing Manager at Shell Indonesia. And this webinar will be moderated by Sony Jethnani, Chairwoman of Britcham Professional Women's Group. And before we start, let me review just a little bit about the functionality of this Zoom webinar. So kindly be informed that today's webinar is being recorded and we will be able to share a link with you when it's available after the event is complete. All dial-in participants will be muted to avoid background noises that may distract you from listening to the webinar and also to enable our panelists to present without interruption. We have also activated the Q&A box located at the bottom center of your screen. So if you have any questions, please type them into the box at any time. And we will have time for Q&A session at the end to answer to your questions. Okay, now without further ado, I'm going to hand the screen over to Ibu Sony, who is going to start today's webinar.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. It gives me so much pleasure to be here today and to see all of you and to thank you for your support for our women's group. This is our first webinar for the Professional Women Group. And for those of you who are not familiar with who we are, let me share with you that the British Chamber is the only European chamber that has a women's sector group. This group has been set up since 10 years ago, and we usually do events once in 2 months. The vision of our group is to elevate and empower and connect women in business. And that's why we chose this topic, because we felt that it's time for us to reach out and share with every woman that they're not alone in this. These are uncertain times, and most of us don't have answers. And our aim today is not to be giving you any professional advice, but just to let you know that together we can overcome this. And yes, we are all riding this ocean or this wave, whatever it is, but we will make it. And so I think today we can start soon, and I'm going to start introducing you to our first speaker, and that is Diana. So Diana is she is leading the corporate affairs country team at Standard Chartered Bank since October 2019, and she develops and implements strategies to build and protect the reputation of the bank. She's working closely with the CEO to address corporate communications. And today we have asked Diana to share about herself as well as her role with Standard Chartered. Diana, over to you. Thank you.
Hello everyone, good afternoon. Thanks Sony for inviting Standard Chartered to this event, and thank you for having me as well. It's nice to meet you all. First of all, I'd like to say I think it's great that Britcham has initiated this kind of events. I think it's important for women to share, to learn from each other, give ideas. I mean, being at home, we may have our husbands, our partners, our boyfriends, whatever, God bless them. But I think a girl's talk is always different, right? Is you know where you're coming from, you share common challenges. So I think it's great. So today I'm really excited to share about my experience, both professionally as well as personally, in going through this wave like Sony mentioned. Okay, so let me start from the professional side. From Standard Chartered, I think we are really trying to support our employees during these difficult times. There has been a lot that the bank has done, starting from little things, not necessarily women related, but for all of the staff, little things like providing healthcare packages containing masks and vitamins, and then providing food for people who are still working from the office, transportation, and so on. I think during times like this, especially in my role, it's very important to keep the staff engaged, right? You don't see them every day anymore like you used to, but you want to know how they're doing, you want to engage them. So a couple of things that we are doing to keep staff engagement up. First of all, when the pandemic first started, we issued little things like infographics to share with them about how to properly wash your hands, how to social distance, even things like how to do conference call manners, because not everyone is used to conference calls. They don't mute their lines. You can hear the dog, the cat, the kids, and everything in the background. So we did that, and also education about the virus itself, how it spreads, how to keep yourself fit, and how to isolate yourself at home when you need to, things like that. And then also to do engagement, we recently completed what we called a 45-second plank challenge. So we invited our staff to send a video of themselves doing plank for 45 seconds. And so very interesting videos we received. They became very creative on how they do their planks. Somebody did the planks over 2 cars, so very exciting. And then we will pick 3 winners. And then next week we will be launching something else. We will be inviting our staff to share a glimpse of their new office at home, so we can see how they work. Some people, they're okay with working on the dining table, right? But others maybe, like for myself, for example, I got a table that was unused. It was sitting in the shed. So I took it to my room, and then I got flowers, pictures, some plants, just to make myself more comfortable at home, make my little office corner. So we'll be inviting staff to share their office, and then we'll be broadcasting the pictures through our internal communications channels. Other than that, we've also held a virtual health talk. So we invited a doctor to speak to our staff through a video conference, where he then shared about this pandemic, and staff there was a question and answer session at the end, where the doctor then addressed the questions from the staff. So that's that in terms of engagement. What else? Oh, something I wanted to share here is what I heard during one of the calls that I had with my group chain, so with people in London, which really resonated with me. There was something that I read also that matches this. I think it was a post on Instagram. It said, "You are not working from home. You are at home trying to work during a crisis." It's a very different thing, right? Because working from home, maybe you used to do it even before the pandemic. Now it's not working from home. It's different. And what my boss said, my global head said, what really resonated with me was, these are not normal times, right? Your team members, they are going through different challenges. Everyone has different dynamics at home. Some people may be busy with their kids, running around doing the online schooling. They need help with the computer. Some may be living with their parent, needs looking after. Some women have to take care of the house chores because the maid has left, mudik already, right, before they banned it. So we need to be aware of that, and to accept that the team is not working, it's not performing like they usually do at the office. We need to accept that maybe kids, our team members who have kids, maybe they will be more responsive in the evening after the kids have gone to bed, right? So if you email them like 9 a.m. in the morning, they're busy. They won't be responding immediately. It's just something to be aware of and to build into your thinking when you expect responses from your team member. I think that was a really important point that she made, and I wanted to share because it really resonated with me. Secondly, the bank has also really highlighted a lot about the importance of mental health and being mentally healthy, continue to be healthy mentally through this crisis. Because I think a lot of people, okay, let me rephrase. Not everyone can cope with this kind of situation well, right? It also really depends on the environment that they have at home. Maybe for myself, I'm quite lucky. My kids I have two daughters, 16 and 18, so they're basically can take care of themselves. But those with small kids, you're trying to work, kids asking for a snack or whatever, and husband demanding this and that. So, or people who are alone, I don't think it's easy. If you live alone, being stuck at home for, what is it? For me, it's now my 8th week, I think, 8 or 9, I can't remember anymore, working from home. Can you imagine not interacting with a human being for so long? It can be depressing, right? So, okay, am I out of time? Okay, sorry. I'll try to wrap up. Okay, so that's what I wanted to share from the professional side. Personally, well, I think the first week has been toughest for me. First week at home, the kids said that I was always marah-marah, always going on about something. Maybe subconsciously I was adapting to the new situation. I then tried to build new routines. Actually, I think I found that it helped me. So before fasting time, my new routine was I wake up, I make myself a cup of coffee, I do my Pilates at home, or I go for a swim, and then 8:30ish I would open my laptop and start work. And then 12 o'clock I would close my laptop, call the kids down, let's have lunch together. And then 7 o'clock, same thing again, close laptop, have dinner together, share about how was your day, because even though you're in the same house together, but you don't really interact because everyone is busy doing something. So that really helped. And then if I have some free time, I try to do things that I like to cook. So I've been exploring new recipes. My kids are very happy about that. Trying new cuisines, some successful, some fail, but yeah. And then I think if we can, we should try and try to incorporate the things that you like to do to the current situation. Like for example, for me, I like to cook. So what I've done a couple of times is I cook and then I send the food to hospitals for the doctors and nurses. So you still do something that you like, at the same time you're helping the community in dealing with this, right? And then for me personally, the greatest feedback or the experience is when you get the pictures from the hospitals, the thank yous from the doctors and nurses, right? It really motivates you to do even more. And what's even greater, I think, is it's contagious, because people hear what you do and then they think, oh, why don't I do that too? So since I did that, my mom started doing the same. She said, I want to cook for them. So then she started cooking and sending food to hospital. It's really contagious, and it's a good energy. It's something positive to spend your time with, right? Some people have maybe in their jobs, they can't really do their jobs during this situation, so they need something positive to do. So incorporate your hobbies into the current situation. I think that would be my advice, if I may. Thank you, Sony.
Thank you, Diana. That was very, very insightful, and thank you for your honesty and your sharing about being angry. I think a lot of us can relate to that, as it feels like sometimes that we are trapped at home. Yes. Next, I would like to introduce Indrijati Rahayoe, or as we fondly call her, Indri. So Indri is the Chief HR Officer for Prudential Life Assurance, and she was the HR Director for Bluebird Group for 3 years prior to this. And her first position was in Bayer, where she headed the human resources for 3 years. Indri has got a very interesting career because she was actually in industrial engineering and production for 13 years before she switched to HR. Very interesting indeed. So she has a wide experience in all aspects of HR. And I guess without further ado, I should hand over the screen to her so she can introduce herself. But before that, I would like to add that Indri has got 2 sons. Both are in university. So Indri, over to you now.
Thank you very much, Sony. Thank you for inviting me for these exciting sessions. Being a woman, usually for woman to woman is really, very strong engagement and connections because we share some similar burden as a woman. So I would like to share about, what myself as a professional needs to do during this crisis, as well as me personally, what I am undergoing to this, unexpected things that happens to everyone across the globe. So these times during crisis is actually the most challenging job for any HR in any companies, not just Prudential, because we need to take care of people. While we are also taking care of ourselves, of our families, and other things. So what we did in Prudential's right now in supporting all of those changes is actually a lot of things. So the first 1 month is exactly what Ibu Diana shared, is all about hygiene factors, how to really adapt into this new normal that right now we are calling it. But now we are, myself, for example, this is my 9 weeks working from home. So half of it since mid-April, we already starting to think about how we make it works more enjoyable, more productive, and more positive as a professional. So we start to have like what we call Pulse Challenge. I'm actually wearing a Pulse t-shirt. So this is Pulse is actually the applications for health ecosystems that just launched in January from Prudential. That's actually for everybody. It's not just for the customer of Prudential, where we are trying to have a healthier lifestyles. So we did it even for the internal, how we do Pulse Challenge for the next 25 weeks. Everybody at that time feeling so nervous because working from home means you keep eating everything and it's not going to win the challenge. But then we make another campaign, we share video on what we can do at home to keep ourselves exercise. Me myself, I'm doing yoga every morning, and some of the barbell. Even when I have very long meeting, 3-4 hours, usually I have it intermittently doing exercise in between. So I think what we learn from these situations is people worry about 2 things. First is financial, second is mental. That's 2 are the most challenging that currently we are undergoing. I'm thankful that in Prudential's, perhaps all the employees doesn't have problems with financial because we have given everything exactly like what normal, including the religious bonus and annual bonus. But mental is something that we need to support. So a lot of activity or some activities that we started, we have the yoga virtual last week, and we do now more on the spiritual talk, so stress relieving. We invite professionals to share to the employee about how to do self-healing when you are at home and releasing some of the stress. You know that most of the participants is actually dominating by women, because it's really that this is really a very challenging. And we did also working from home survey. We just had it last week in terms of result, and it was proven that actually the most challenging time or the most challenging mental challenge from women is really first how to do multi roles at the same time, being a professional and being the mothers or the spouse or whatever domestic jobs that you need to accomplish at the same time. So besides that, being in the working from home, unavoidably we are available every time. And it is also, triggering us to have meeting even, outside working hours, sometimes very early in the morning, sometimes very late in the evening, and sometimes over the weekend. Maybe not just because of the meeting scheduled in the office, but we also have a lot of webinar like this. There is a very interesting and very exciting for us to learn. So unavoidance, we are staying in front of the laptop or in front of our gadget much longer than what we used to be when we work in the office. So that's, I think, some of the realizations. Me myself to really adapt into this is really, firstly, I think we have to keep ourselves being positive is a very important, because I'm one of believer that when we are ourselves happy and peace to ourselves, there are a lot of things that we can do for ourselves, for others, or even for outside people, like what Ibu Diana did, cooking for the hospital. So that can only happen if we ourselves happy. And what is important is to make us happy. And this happiness is coming from us, is coming from ourselves. So I think giving recognitions and credits to ourselves, that what we have done and how we are undergoing things, this tremendously, tremendous change that we passing, and give a credit to us is something important. Appreciating small things that we did, usually take it for granted, for everything. Now something small, even as small as eating together at home, is so valuable, because that's the only what you call entertainment that we have right now, apart from other things. So I think appreciating small things and keeping positive is what I think I am doing, in the past 9 months at home. 9 weeks at home. Thank you, Sony.
Indri, and thank you so much, Indri. That's also very insightful as to the Pulse program that Prudential is doing for its employees, and also your personal journey, and how, as you said, meditation and doing yoga can really help us. And I think it's really important that we stay happy, because mental health is really the key to undergoing this with a happy attitude. Yes. Now, next, I'm going to introduce Mutia Rini, or Muti as she is called. She is responsible for the portfolio management, communication campaign, and marketing strategy of Shell Indonesia. And she is also the president of Shell Indonesia Women's Network, a platform which aims to promote diversity and inclusion among Shell Indonesia employees. With her passion of giving back to the community, Muti also leads the Shell for Indonesia campaign, which aims to integrate business with higher purpose activities that gives positive impact to the society. Muti is a single mom, and she has a 4-year-old daughter. So over to you, Muti.
Thank you, Bu Sony, for the introduction, and thank you, Britcham, for this wonderful opportunity. This is such an honor to be able to share today together with Bu Diana and Bu Indri. Well, I believe that we all have our own way to cope with this COVID-19 situation, and I hope that my story can help to add the feeling of hope, faith, and love for us to cope with this very challenging period. Okay, so my circumstances is a bit funny, because I started this year by getting a divorce. So just in time when I felt like I'm ready to let it go into the unknown, take these broken wings and watch me burn across the sky, the world be like, where do you think you're going? Stay home, there's pandemic. Okay, I'm sorry, I've been at home for too long with my daughter. My playlist is basically dismissed. But the first thing that I realized was that I need to be okay, because I'm dealing with 2 new normals all at once, which is this pandemic and the new dynamic in my family. So again, I need to be okay. So I do whatever it is that came to my mind. I talk to my therapist, I do meditation, I work out, I do yoga, I journal, basically anything that keep me to stay centered and well balanced, because I realize that if I'm not okay, I cannot be the best version of myself for my daughter and of course my team at work. Because we need to admit that this is a really challenging situation, right? For the first time in forever, again, business owner. We are forced to learn to adapt to this new dynamic of working from home, all while having to homeschool our kids. So just a little bit of background. My daughter is 4 years old and she loves school so much. And not because she likes to study, not even close, but because she likes to meet her friends and play with them. And this kind of situation has been really hard on her. So, and I think we can all agree that homeschool kids her age, 4 years old, is really adorable sometimes. So, for me, this is when supportive working environment become very vital. In Shell, we need to rework our marketing strategy almost 100%. We shifted our focus to respond to this COVID-19 situation. We need to shift our focus to ensuring the business continuity while trying to help our customers and business partners to navigate the crisis. We send out information and safety tips and also care kit, and we also did some disinfectant spray to some locations, basically anything that we can do to help. And this requires our employees to stay resilient. That's why we have put some weight on the employee engagement. Every week we conduct this resilient session, which involving our leadership team in lubricants, during which we check on each other, and then we really share some information and tips on how to stay healthy and happy during these challenging circumstances. And we even invited some external speakers who are experts, and they've been sharing how to maintain our physical, emotional, and even financial well-being during crisis. And as for Shell Indonesia Women Network, our role is to help energizing the employee. And we're not only focusing on female employees, but more into diversity and inclusion, because we believe both males and females can only be the best version of themselves, reach their full potential if they are given equal opportunity to contribute and to involve. And the first thing that we did was realizing the challenge of working from home while having to homeschool. We sent out a package of educational toys and books for employees' families with children aged 0 until 6 years old. And we conducted an internal competition for older kids, so they can send out their stories on how they cope with the situation, what they do at home to keep themselves entertained, because we want to, as much as possible, change this situation into a unforgettable quality time together with your family. And last month, during Kartini Day, we conducted an internal virtual event during which we held a discussion. How can male and female create a more well-balanced dynamic at home? Because we do not want the burden to come only for women, right? The burden of working and then taking care of the domestic work. And how can we do to empower each other? That's the bottom line. And at the end, I believe that we all should operate from the place of empathy, and it starts with yourself. Be kind to yourself. Self-care is mandatory. and really take everything as it is. And also, after that, you can start to look to your closer circle, to your community and your business community on what you can do to reach out and to help. Because again, we're in this together and we should do our best to support one another. That would be all from me, Bu Sony. Thank you very much.
Muti, thank you. Thank you, Muti, for that sharing, and also for being so vulnerable by sharing with us that this has been a double journey for you this year, being a single mom newly, and then also dealing with this working from home. And despite that, you're able to be an example, I think, for the women's group that you are leading. And I think this is really one time where we cannot copy-paste answers, but we can only learn through experience and share with one another that perhaps this might work. Because right now, no one is an expert on what is going on in this world. Thank you so much, ladies. This has been such a wonderful webinar. And basically, each of you has mentioned the word that I've been actually wanting to share with the whole group and everybody who is listening. Please do not forget empathy. Empathy, especially for yourself, because each and every one of you are really doing a lot. And we may not realize it, and people may not thank us or appreciate us, but self-empathy and self-love is very important. When you're on a plane and something's about to happen, they always tell you that please put the life emergency thing on you first. So ladies, don't forget, you need to be empathetic towards yourself, and then you'll be able to see the world for the magic and beauty and miracles that are still there in our daily lives. And another thing I would like to remind you all is 4H. Be home, be healthy, be happy, and have hope. All are H. And if we can be happy, we are definitely going to be healthy. And how to be happy? I've realized that service is the word. Look at all the people now who are helping us to be happy. All the grocery shop people, the Gojek drivers, the nurses, the doctors, what are they doing? They're serving. So at home, we are all being called to serve. And I think if we can accept that and start serving first ourselves and then our family, we can at least already start by being happy. And once we are happy, it's very contagious. We can share that. So instead of worrying about passing on a disease, let's start sharing happiness and let's start sharing smiles. And finally, I would like to remind you all also, since we've been talking about mindfulness and meditation, I think the most important thing that is really making everyone feel trapped right now is the fact is that they can't go anywhere. And there is a saying that I say, if you can't go nowhere, remember that you are now here. And it is from a book by John Kabat-Zinn, who is the mindfulness teacher. He says, wherever you go, there you are. So if we can remember to be happy now here, then we don't have to worry that we are not going anywhere. Because now here is all that we have. Let's forget the past, and we have no idea what is happening in the future. But being happy and being healthy and being of service to the people who matter to us, that will make our lives worth living. Thank you so much. Thank you to all the speakers. Thank you to each and every one of you for sharing your time with us. And thank you especially to the Britcham team. They have worked enthusiastically and with real zeal and tirelessness to make this happen. I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for them. And I'm really, really grateful. And they deserve applause. Please, everybody, wherever you are, please give the team a big hand. Thank you to the board of Britcham. Thank you to Chris Wren, the director of Britcham. And I would like to let you know that the Britcham is very, very active. There's a lot of webinars that they have been hosting since last month, and they will continue hosting. And some of the ones that are coming up is on Monday, the 18th of May, our COVID-19 story, West Java, Challenges, Wins, Collaboration Opportunities, with Governor Ridwan Kamil, Governor of West Java. On the 19th of May, Britcham has a webinar series in leadership and adaptability, and the speaker is Dr. Paul Aitken, founder of Agility Ship. And on the 22nd and 28th of May, Britcham will have an Indonesia Digital Transformation webinar series. All these seminars and webinars are all free of charge. All the information is available on Britcham's website, social media, which includes Facebook, Instagram, as well as LinkedIn. So thank you very much, everyone. Selamat buka puasa for those who are going to be breaking their fast soon. And to all the mothers, a happy belated Mother's Day. And please again remember to love yourself, take care of yourself, and have empathy. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.